separate my side.
Coming to you from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world. This is the Daily Success Podcast, a podcast about success-related tactics and strategies that you can use to help you become a better version of yourself daily. I'm your host, Wayne Wallace, and I'm on a mission to improve myself on a daily basis. I'd like to acknowledge you for joining me here on the podcast today and let you know that you're part of the 5% club. Only about 5% of the population makes any kind of effort to improve themselves on a daily basis. And I applaud you for listening, and I encourage you to come back tomorrow and listen some more. So the question I've got for you today is, are you a big talker? Have you ever said, I want to start a business, and then maybe you didn't do it? Or you said, I want to do this X big thing, and you never did it. Or maybe you even committed to something, and then you quit. You know, obviously you didn't do anything about it. You talked a lot, but you didn't do anything about it. I've talked with a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of people talk big about their dreams and visions, and that's great. I don't discourage that at all. But do something about it. Here's the problem. Most people underestimate what it's going to take to be successful and do whatever that thing is that they talk about doing. They talk and they talk and they talk, and I want to do this and I want to do that. And I know you've heard people that do this. They talk all the time about what they want to do. Oh, I want to do this with my life. I want to do that with my life. But they never do anything. And then most people think too small. So number one, they underestimate what it's going to take. And number two, they think too small. Okay, if you're going to think at all, then think big. A lot of people think, well, when I retire, I'm just going to start my little photography business. You know how many times I've heard that? You know, like I went to school for photography and I learned professionally, how to take photos. Nowadays everybody's a photographer with their iPhone or their Android or a camera that they go buy. But I actually went to school and studied it. And I have friends that graduated with me from a very expensive, like one of the highest end photography schools there was. They closed now because the photography industry is dying. But they graduated and they went and got a job at flipping burgers or pouring coffee or doing whatever, or they went back to their previous career, and then they think, well, I'm going to open up a little portrait studio when I retire. Right? That's thinking small. You got to think big. You got to burn the bridges, burn the boats. Don't give yourself any other options. I mean, when I went to photography school, I had left a very good corporate job. Well, I got laid off, but I still left that industry and I decided to go into photography. Well, I took a serious pay grade, down to 0. And then I decided I was going to go into the photography industry. Well, there was no guarantee, even that after I went to school, that I was going to make any money. Even after I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, there was no guarantee that I was going to make any money. So in essence, I burned the bridges behind me. I said, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to do what I used to do. I'm going to go do something new. Okay? So, most people underestimate what it's going to take to be successful. I underestimate. I didn't realize what it was going to take to be successful. And I'm what I would say somewhat successful as a photographer. I'm not rich and wealthy, but I do okay. I don't have to go work for someone else in a 9 to 5 job, like a lot of people. So, think bigger and really think about what it's going to take and think about, are you prepared to take that step? We all have the same problem. We all, no matter how successful you are, no matter what you've done in your life, you have these two problems. You think small and you underestimate what it's going to take. There's a saying that I heard that Mike Tyson says. Everybody knows Mike, right? Uh, Everybody may not like Mike, but everybody knows Mike. Um, he said everyone's got a fight plan until they get hit in the face. And I just kind of chuckled when I heard that because it's so true, right? I mean, you think you're a big tough guy, and then you get whacked in the face by someone that's a little bit tougher than you, maybe, and you're like, oh, okay, now my plan's changed. So everyone's got a fight plan until they get hit in the face. So what are you going to do when you get punched in the face? Let's take my photography example. So I wanted to go get into the photography industry. Well, I went out looking for employment, looking for jobs, and basically got punched in the face. Oh no, we don't need anybody, thanks. What are you going to do when you're rejected? How are you going to react? Or maybe someone tells you that you shouldn't do that. Oh, I wouldn't do that. That's not a good idea, you know. Um, I don't think that's a good thing for you to do. Why don't you go back and, get a real job, right? So, they may be coming from a place of love or trying to help you, but really they're your enemy, and you need to get that in your head. They may be your mom or your dad or your best friend, but they're your enemy because they're trying to take you down and they're trying to squash your dreams. And you need to just say, hey, you know what? Thanks for your opinion, but I don't need it. And, they're trying to kill your dreams and take food out of your mouth and stop you from being who you want to be. So don't let negative people like that impact you. And I've told this story again. I don't know when I told it, but it's a great story, and that's why I tell it all the time. So I'll tell it again here. It's about the crabs and the cockroaches. I heard this from Les Brown. He's a big motivational speaker. And if you take either crabs or cockroaches and you put them in a bucket with a slippery edge on it, they're going to try and crawl out. But they're never going to get out because all the other ones keep on grabbing onto them when they're trying to get out of the bucket, and they never get out, and then they just get pulled back down, and then another one tries to get out and the other ones pull them down. And that's what your friends and your family and your quote loved ones are doing, is they're dragging you down. So the only person that you need to worry about what they're saying is yourself, because you lie to yourself and you scam yourself and you tell yourself all these things that just aren't true. Okay? So you need to ask yourself these questions. And the cool thing about asking yourself a question, it may sound like a silly thing to do. Oh, I'm going to ask myself this question. Self, what do you think? Well, you're part of the purpose of the subconscious mind is to answer whatever questions that you may ask of it. So, the first question you want to ask yourself is, how am I underestimating my abilities? How am I underestimating my abilities? Maybe you think working a 9 to 5 job is all you can do. I'm just a housewife. This is all I can do. Well, I never graduated college. This is all I can do. I'm just a laborer. That's all I can do. Maybe you've been, you had a bad past and you've been mixed up and legal issues, and you did some time and you think, well, I'm a bad person because, I did time. Or maybe you did drugs or maybe you're doing them now, and maybe, you know, you got problems with alcohol. So, how are you underestimating your abilities? We've all got things that we're underestimating. So, maybe you think a certain amount of money is all you can make. I can only make X dollars. This is all I'm qualified to make. That's not true. You can make as much money as you want. Let me ask you this. Did they quit printing money yet? No, they didn't. They print money every day or every week, whatever their schedule is. I don't know. But they're printing new money all the time. There's more money out there for the taking, and they're printing new money all the time. And there's going to be new kinds of money out there. There already is. Bitcoin, digital currency. They're creating new monies every day. There's like so many different digital currencies now. That's a whole nother field. Okay, even the governments are worried about that because they're not in control. The banks aren't in control anymore, or they're not going to be, because people are creating these digital currencies, and you can bypass a lot of the old school mainstream things. The world is changing. So, the second thing that you want to ask yourself is, what kind of things am I believing that I can't do? And normally I wouldn't have you write down a bunch of bad stuff because it's just negative, but I want you to write it down to get it out of your head and realize that you're telling yourself all these lies and you're scamming yourself on a daily basis. People are all worried about being scammed by someone. Oh, that guy's gonna scam me. Well, don't worry about what other people are doing. You're doing it to yourself. You say things like, I don't have enough time, I'm too young, or I'm too old, or I don't have any money, or I can't do that. I tried that before and it doesn't work. Okay? Most people spend way too much time on thinking about things that are draining their energy and time, while you could be spending time on things that are going to make you money and make more things happen. Okay? There are so many opportunities out there. Like I was talking about digital cryptocurrency. Like today, I was in a room with a bunch of smart people, like genius level type people. And this group of people hired me to come do some photos for them because they needed pictures for their new business that they're creating. And, they're creating all kinds of cool stuff that never existed before, just because they're getting together and they're putting their brains together to try and come up with this new system that's never been around. And it's all based on cryptocurrency. Now, maybe that's not your thing, or maybe that is your thing. Maybe you could learn about it. There's all kinds of opportunities out there. I mean, look at people like Elon Musk. He wants to go to the moon. Mars, I mean. Not the moon. The moon's easy. He wants to take people to Mars and bring them back. Okay? I mean, the first trip's a one-way trip, but eventually he wants to have shuttle service to Mars. I mean, that's thinking big. That's the kind of thinking big you need to do. And I need to do. I need to do it. I'm telling myself this stuff as well. Okay? We're all lying to ourselves. We're all underestimating our abilities. We're thinking small. We need to think bigger. So, how can you start changing your thinking? Well, I've got a tip for you. A couple tips for you. One, I want you to get a pad of paper. Doesn't have to be fancy. Just any old pad of paper will do. Even a sheet of paper. And just write down your long-term goals on it. Not what you got to do tomorrow, not what you got to do next week, but like far off. Like write down that far off goal, that big goal that's unobtainable. Like, maybe if the most you've ever made is 30 grand a year, write down, I want to make $250,000. That may be way out of reach for you. Okay, or whatever it is. Write down that big goal. And then what I want you to do is write it down twice a day. Every day. Get a new sheet of paper out and write down that goal. I make $250,000 a year. I make $250,000 a year. And write it down in the morning when you first get up, and then before you go to bed. Write it down. And then you can throw away that piece of paper later, but it's just the act of writing it down every single day. When you get up, you're focusing on it, and when you go to bed, you're focusing on it. So again, these aren't your daily goals. These are things that are big goals, out of reach goals. Okay? The second thing is make a list of the things that are not helping you and eliminate them. Maybe it's watching TV. Maybe it's hanging out with the same old people doing the same old thing that you've been doing for 5 years or 10 years. Write down the things that are holding you back, whether it's, bad habits or limiting beliefs. And write down the things that are taking up your time and energy, that are sucking time and energy from you. And just try and avoid those things. Cut them out of your life. And add more positive stuff to your life. Because I guarantee the more positive stuff you put in, it's going to push that negative stuff right out. It's kind of like water. You pour water in a cup, eventually it's going to start flowing over, right? So if you pour enough good stuff in, that bad stuff's going to flow out. And then third, you want to get around people that will help you get to where you want to be. So if there's people that are going in the right direction, maybe they haven't quite reached, their final point yet, but they're going in the right direction. They're taking action towards, where you want to be. Then get around those people. Those are the people you want to be around. Take one of them to lunch and say, hey, you're a very successful, smart person. I want to take you to lunch and pick your brain. Okay, you need to find a mentor or join a group of people that meet. Like this group of people I was with today. They all feed off of each other. They're really smart. So I've got a great opportunity for you. If you don't have anybody in your life right now that you can get together with and, have them as a mentor or a group that you can get together with on a regular basis, then I've got a group for you. It's a group that I created. It's a special coaching, mentoring group, and I put together a website and a webinar for you to go check out. So go to this website. It's successcoachingwebinar.com, and you can register for the next webinar there, and you can learn about this mentoring group that I put together specifically for this purpose. So you can be around people that'll help you get in the right mindset and start working on things daily that'll help you out. So again, go to successcoachingwebinar.com and you can check that out. Next, I want to talk to you about the money game. And I've mentioned this in the past, and it's a fun little game to play. Basically, I give you a bunch of fake money and you got to spend it. So the last time I played this game, it was at $50K, and you're supposed to give yourself double the. But I don't always do it on the call. I just do it once in a while. But it's good to do it every day if you can. So the last time I spent my $50K. So I'm going to spend my $100K tonight. And then tomorrow or the next day, whenever I do this again, it'll be $200K. So today, what I'm going to spend my $100K on is I'm going to buy $50,000 in digital cryptocurrency. I figure that's a good investment. There's a lot of different currencies out there. I'm just going to take that $50K and spread it out over all the different currencies. And one of them is going to hit, and I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to take $10K, and I'm going to go buy myself some new clothes just because I want to feel good and look good. right? And then I'm going to take 20K and I'm going to go buy some gold, that old school investment. And then I'm going to take another 20K and I'm going to go buy some silver. Because no matter how great you think digital currency is digital. And if you forget your password or your account gets hacked, that money's gone. Sorry. No getting it back. Just like if your hard drive crashes, maybe you might be able to get some of it back, but it's digital. It's very risky. You got to be careful with that. Okay, I know a lot about technology, so let me know if you have any questions about that. But gold and silver, that's, you can hold it in your hand. Okay, you can put it in a safe, or you can put it in a safe deposit box. Unless someone comes and steals it physically from you, then you got your money. All right, and it's still going up in value. It may have its ups and downs, but it's going to go up in value, trust me. So the next thing I've got to invite you to, if you're in sales or you sell anything for a living, I know that you need to improve your skills. And I've created a special call just for salespeople. Now, this call is about success. It's just generic to anyone that wants to be more successful. But if you want to be more successful in your sales game and you want to take your sales game to the next level, then I want you to join me on our daily sales training call. And you can get the call-in information at this website, dailysalestrainingcall.com. Pretty easy to remember, right? dailysalestrainingcall.com. I do these calls at 8 a.m. in the morning, so you got to be there. There's no podcast for it. There's no recording that you can download from YouTube or anything like that. It's a live call. You got to be on it to learn, and you got to be on it to do practice sessions. There's a structure to the call. I do training first, and then I open it up to questions and discussions and practice. So if you want to come practice your script in a safe environment and get some honest feedback from fellow salespeople, then you can do that here. So just go to dailysalestrainingcall.com and get the call-in information. Log it into your phone so you have it right there all the time. And then join me on the call every morning at 8 a.m. All right? So until next time, which is tomorrow, have a success-filled day. And if you like that song that I was playing in the beginning, that is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I love the Chili Peppers, and I'm going to play a little bit more of them as we close out this call. So enjoy, and we'll see you tomorrow.